Hey everyone, it's Tony here. Welcome to my channel where I share real horror stories and spine-chilling experiences. If you enjoy these creepy tales, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It really helps me stay motivated to bring you more terrifying stories. Now turn off the lights, get comfortable, and let's dive into tonight's nightmare. Story 1. The Woman in the Old House. I've always enjoyed late night walks. There's something about the stillness that makes everything feel simpler. I'm a welder by trade, been doing it for over 40 years now. I live alone on a big farm, just me and my dog Bosley. The house is too large for one person, but I never had the heart to downsize after my wife Maria passed away. My kids moved out years ago, and ever since cancer took her, it's just been me and Bosley. One night after a long day in the shop, I decided to go for a walk. My property is pretty big, so just a single loop is usually enough to satisfy my craving. The air was cool, and Bosley trotted along beside me. Sometimes, I think he likes me more than I like him. I've walked that loop hundreds of times, but as I was heading back toward the house, something caught my eye. I glanced up at the second-story window, the one that looks out from the bedroom Maria and I used to share. For a split second, I thought I saw something move. I stopped dead in my tracks, staring up at that window. There was no reason anyone should be in there. I hadn't been in that room in years. Couldn't bring myself to. I felt my blood start to boil at the thought of some stranger breaking into my house. I wasn't going to stand for that. I rushed inside, my heart racing, and ran upstairs. The room was empty, just like I'd left it. No sign of anything out of place. I looked everywhere, imaginable, but found nothing. I was pretty freaked out, but more angry than anything. I figured I had just seen something that wasn't there. The next night, I woke up to Bosley growling. He's a good dog, never barks unless there's something to bark at. I sat up in bed, listening. That's when I heard creaking coming from upstairs. It could have just been the sounds of my old house, but my mind went directly to footsteps coming from right above me. I debated grabbing my hunting rifle, but didn't want to go that far. I grabbed my flashlight and went to check again. Nothing. The room was untouched. The following night, I came downstairs to find the kitchen lights on. I know. I turned them off before bed. I called the police. They searched the house but found nothing. They were nice about it, but didn't seem to believe me. The worst night came when I decided to check the bedroom again. When I opened the door, I froze. Maria's clothes, which I had packed away after she died, were scattered across the floor. And then I saw her, a woman standing in the doorway, just staring at me. She wasn't Maria. She was too short. I ran at her, but she bolted down the stairs and out the front door. Bosley and I searched the property, but she was gone. After that, I couldn't sleep for months. Every little noise set me off. One night, I noticed a figure standing in the yard, looking straight at me through the window. It was her again. I grabbed my hunting rifle and ran outside. Bosley, close behind, I fired warning shots into the air, and she finally ran into the darkness. I haven't seen her since, but I know it's only a matter of time. Thank God for Bosley. I have no idea what I would do without him. Story 2. The Volkswagen at the Nature Preserve. I work for a catering service, which means I'm on the road a lot, usually late at night. By the time I get home, I'm either so wired from caffeine that I can't sleep, or I pass out immediately. One night driving home around 2 a.m., I decided to grab some food. There's a McDonald's right off the highway, about 10 minutes from my house. As I sat in the drive-thru, I noticed a beat-up Volkswagen backed into a spot in the far corner of the lot. The McDonald's was only doing drive-thru orders, so the parked car seemed odd. I figured maybe someone was just eating in their car. I got my food and didn't want to go straight home, so I thought of eating somewhere else. There's a nature preserve near my house with a scenic lookout point. It's closed to cars after dark, but the walking path is accessible. I parked my car in the gravel lot. Just as I was about to turn off the engine, I saw headlights. It was the same Volkswagen from McDonald's. At first, I told myself it was a coincidence. I FaceTimed my friend Sebastian and asked him to come join me. He agreed and said he'd be there in 10 minutes. While I waited, the Volkswagen didn't move. When Sebastian arrived, we walked toward the lookout point. As we glanced back, all 4 doors of the Volkswagen opened at once. 4 guys stepped out, just standing there, silently. We kept walking. When we reached the top, the view was beautiful and I started to relax. But then 3 of the guys approached us, one of them holding a blunt. They acted friendly at first, but got hostile when we declined to smoke. I realized there had been 4 guys in the car, but only 3 had approached. Where was the 4th? Sebastian pointed into the trees. The 4th guy was hiding there, holding something I couldn't make out. We bolted. They chased us all the way down the path, but we reached the parking lot first and sped away. We regrouped later and decided to report it. The next day, we spoke to a young employee at McDonald's, showing him the picture. Sebastian had snapped. His face went pale. Apparently, the guy in the McDonald's uniform had a history of harassing his ex-girlfriend who used to work there. He had been violating a restraining order and stalking people in the lot. It's been a week. Since then, I haven't gone back to that McDonald's or the nature preserve, and I don't plan to. Story 3. The Abandoned Church in Narberth. Forgive me if I don't remember every detail. It happened a while ago. I grew up in Ardmore, Pennsylvania, where not much goes on. In high school, my friends and I would sneak into abandoned buildings for fun. One of our go-to spots was an abandoned church at 198 Elmwood Avenue in Narberth. One fall evening, 6 of us, me, Luna Gina, Johnny Max, and Ali, decided to hit the church and drink a little. The first floor was nothing but dirt, with a hole in the center and concrete stairs leading down to the basement. We always ended up down there. The basement had 3 rooms. Only one had a door. We were hanging out in the largest room, drinking and laughing, when suddenly a door slammed shut. Luna, Gina, and Johnny bolted upstairs, but Max, Ali, and I stayed behind to investigate. The door that had slammed led to a small room. Inside was an old dresser with a cracked mirror and red stains smeared across it. When I got closer, I realized the stains weren't dry. Whatever it was recent. On top of the dresser sat an old black and white photograph of a woman in a wedding dress. Something about her smile made my skin crawl. Just then, we heard noises coming from the room we had just been in, Max, Ali, and I decided we'd had enough. We grabbed our stuff and ran. As we scrambled over the fence, I glanced back. In the open window, I swear I saw the silhouette of a person watching us. I've never gone back to that church. Last I heard, it's been demolished. Part of me is relieved. Part of me still wonders what we saw that night. Story 4. The Man in the Motel Mirror. I was driving cross country. A few years ago, after my brother's wedding, I had planned to do the whole trip in 2 days, but after 13 hours on the road, I decided to stop for the night. I was in the middle of nowhere, somewhere in western Kansas. I think I pulled into this little roadside motel called Red Hills Inn. It looked old but clean enough, and I was too tired to care. The guy at the front desk was friendly but had the strange way of not blinking much. He asked if I wanted a ground floor or upstairs room. I said ground floor, easier to carry my stuff. He gave me room 6 and handed me a real key, not a card with a cracked plastic tag. I got inside, turned on the light, and immediately noticed the room had a huge mirror facing the bed. It spanned almost the entire wall. I thought it was weird, but again I was exhausted. I took a quick shower, lay down and started watching something on my phone. That's when I noticed it. In the mirror behind me, there was something off. The reflection didn't match what I saw in the room. In the mirror, the closet door was slightly open, but in reality, it was shut. I sat up confused and stared into the mirror. Nothing changed, but then I saw movement. Just a tiny flicker, like someone shifting slightly in the shadows behind the closet door. I turned around so fast, I nearly fell off the bed. The door was still closed. I walked over, threw it open. Empty, I told myself. I was overtired and seeing things, so I got back in bed and turned the light off. Around 3 a.m. I woke up with a start. The room was silent, but I could feel something watching me. I looked toward the mirror, and this time I saw it clearly. A man's face just behind my shoulder, staring into the mirror. I couldn't see him when I turned around. Only in the reflection. I screamed, turned on every light, and packed up in under a minute. As I was leaving the room, I stopped by the front desk to return the key. The man wasn't there anymore. Instead, there was a handwritten sign that read, "Back in 10 minutes, room 6. I didn't wait. I threw the key on the counter and drove off into the night. Story 5. The Stranger Under the Bridge. This happened during lockdown, when I used to take daily walks to keep my sanity. I live near a river trail that winds through a bunch of wooded areas and under a couple of old train bridges. It's peaceful and usually deserted, the perfect place to clear my head. One evening, maybe around 6 or 7, I went for a longer walk than usual. The sun had already dipped behind the trees, and the trail was starting to get dark. I had just passed under the first bridge when I heard someone behind me. Footsteps. I turned around expecting to see a jogger or cyclist. No one. I paused, listened. Nothing, kept walking. About a minute later, I heard it again, this time slower, measured, as if someone was walking at the exact same pace as me, but just far enough behind that I couldn't see them. I stopped. The footsteps stopped. I started again. So did they. By the time I reached the second bridge, I was properly freaked out. I picked up the pace and crossed under it. There's a spot just past the bridge where the trail splits. One path loops back into town. The other leads to a dead end near the riverbank. I took the loop back towards civilization. I thought I was safe. But then, just as I was passing under a broken street lamp, I heard a voice. Quiet horse. Wrong way. I turned around so fast, I nearly tripped. Under the bridge, just barely visible in the gloom, was a figure, tall, still standing, perfectly upright. I couldn't make out any features, just a human shape half in shadow. I ran. sprinting full speed until I reached the road and flagged down a passing car. I didn't look back. I didn't want to know if he was following me. The next day, I went to the same trail during daylight with a friend. We searched under the bridges. Nothing. No signs of anyone, no footprints, no trash, no camps. Just a single word spray painted under the second bridge: run.